Hey folks, my name's Noah Lynch, and you're listening to the Slawcast.
Down in Arkansas, they serve you coleslaw, chopped up finer than a bale of straw. When you crunch and gnaw, a bunch of coleslaw keeps you.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Slawcast with your host Noah Lynch. I am Noah Lynch. I'm the two-time Pulitzer Prize winner in category of side dish nonfiction, four-time coleslaw reviewer of the year by Time Magazine, 30 Under 30 coleslaw media luminary, and the host of the number one coleslaw advice podcast on the internet, the Slawcast. Welcome to episode 2, the Summer of Slaw. Earlier in the week, we went over our first coleslaw of the entire summer. It was the JC Summer Slaw. I was actually pretty impressed with that coleslaw. Went in kind of with lower expectations coming from a grocery store, obviously, and was actually pleasantly surprised. I'm not sure how these other JC coleslaws are going to stack up. One of the things that is going to be to their advantage for the next two coleslaws from JC is that they are quite a bit cheaper, 50 cents on the pound cheaper than the Summer Slaw. So we'll see if that plays into it. And actually, I should really say, will that be the difference maker or not? Because obviously I misspoke there. It's going to play into it one way or the other. But will it be enough to offset the pros and cons? We'll have to see. But if you're thinking about buying in bulk, perhaps for a get-together or a family gathering or something of the sort, I mean, you're thinking 50 cents on the pound, and you buy 10 pounds of this stuff, you're saving $5. I mean, that's not nothing. In fact, that's quite a bit to most people. So if these slaws even kind of match up to the Summer Slaw, I'm going to have to edge them out just a little bit, even though the Summer Slaw was good. And if really the budget is not an issue for you, maybe the Summer Slaw is going to be the front runner so far, but we'll see. Before we get into the review today, I actually do want to talk about something that happened earlier in the year. The Slawcast happened to be on hiatus at the time, so I didn't get to cover it live like I would have wanted to, and I didn't get to make it down there, unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions. I mean, you know how it is. But, of course, during the Daytona Beach Bike Week, we had the coleslaw wrestling at the Cabbage Patch, the annual event. If you've never heard of it, I mean, are you living under a rock? I don't know how else to explain that, but I'll give you a quick rundown just for those who aren't initiated. Basically, the coleslaw wrestling at the Cabbage Patch every year is an event where, serious wrestling. I'm not talking about professional wrestling. I mean, Greco-Roman wrestling fanatics get together. The best in the world compete. Obviously, women only and bikinis preferred, but get down into a pit of coleslaw and wrestle for the championship. And just a huge shout out from everyone here at the Slawcast and the whole community for the now 9-time World Coleslaw Wrestling Champion, Shannon Cook, a.k.a. Cookie. That's the name she fights under. When you looked at the field this year, I mean, it was a particularly hard year. I thought the bracket, hard-fought matches from beginning to end, very technical wrestling this year, I thought. Obviously, everything's fought at catch weight, so she had even a weight disadvantage for most of the matches. There were some tough competitors, particularly that championship bout. I really thought Angry Beaver could have had it. I think there was actually one of the judges did call the match for Angry Beaver if it hadn't ended in TKO. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Angry was probably ahead on the scorecards, so I think Cookie knew she had to go in and finish it, and you never want to leave it up to the judges anyway, so I thought that was just an incredible match. I mean, it's on YouTube. I would highly suggest watching it. Just a technical match and mental and a physical battle between two furious competitors. And to talk about just dominance in your field, I mean, when you think about great athletes out there, we're talking like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Tom Brady, some of those soccer guys. I don't really know the names of those guys, but I'm sure some of them are really cool. You're talking about, being a great athlete is one thing, and there's a lot of Hall of Famers in every sport that don't have those championship rings. I mean, you're talking about Cookie has 9 championships, the most dominant champion in coleslaw wrestling history, one of the most dominant champions in just sporting history in general. It's kind of crazy that we're lucky enough to see it in front of our eyes right now, and I hope that she continues to wrestle and to compete every year. And I'm excited to see where this goes, to be honest with you. So just once again, huge shout out to Shannon and her whole team, you could tell she was well coached and well researched out there. And, I'd love to have her on the podcast someday. She doesn't do a whole lot of media interviews, so I don't know how possible that really is. But that's kind of common among high-performing champions anyway when it comes to sports. So, I'll let her do her business. As long as she keeps competing and she keeps entertaining everyone and competing at a high level, we'll call it even on that one. So anyway, now that we're done with that, it's time to get into the review. I'm just picking these randomly in no certain order, but we do have a big one up today. So another one from JC. Now, immediately off the back, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. I'm a little skeptical because the name of this coleslaw, and I'm not joking here, folks, is Grandma's Coleslaw. And if any of you guys have grandmas out there, you would know that is a steep, and I mean a steep claim to make from a grocery store deli. But they surprised us with the summer slaw, so we'll go ahead and we'll try it and we'll give it an honest shot here. So we did talk about the summer slaw was actually, I've got it here still, at $3.49 a pound. So this particular slaw is actually $2.99 a pound. Ended up giving me 1.11 pounds, so I paid $3.32 for the whole container. I'm not going to weigh it because it's the same deli, but one thing I do want to say, when I'm comparing these coleslaws, I ordered a pound of each, by the way. Okay, so that's what I told them I wanted. Now, on the summer slaw, I got 0.87 pounds. On this grandma's coleslaw, I got 1.11 pounds. And then on the next slaw, which I'm not going to reveal the name yet, but I got 1.05 pounds. So really, I never got the exact 1 pound measurement. And I'm not going to necessarily hold that against them, but I do think there's some kind of consistency issue there when you're talking about the variance between not even getting to a pound and now we're overshooting it. The 1.05 pounds, that's pretty close. I'd say that's good, but I am a little bit worried about the consistency there. Looks like she got a little heavy-handed on this one. Now, first impressions wise, we'll just go ahead and go down the ingredients list. I actually kind of took a sneak peek and I'm a little bit intrigued here. So ingredients go like this: cabbage, soybean oil, fructose, sugar, carrot, contains less than 2% of egg yolks, and high fructose corn syrup. The list goes on from there. So something interesting that I saw here is that there is not that same dressing right after the cabbage as we had before. So cabbage, soybean oil, fructose, sugar, carrot. So carrots made it in 5th place behind soybean oil, fructose, sugar. So all three of those made it above in the ingredients list. That's not the best sign in the world, but we might be in for a sweet coleslaw at the very least. I'm going to go ahead and open it up and give some first impressions here. Okay, so right off the bat, on the nose, surprisingly not as nostalgic. Now, for something called Grandma's Slaw, you would have thought this would be a little more classic. I'm getting some fruity notes. Obviously smell the cabbage. I do see some carrots in there. It's a little more bright than the summer slaw, actually, surprisingly. There's no earthy tones. Off the bat, I'm not that impressed. I'm going to tell you this right now. It almost looks like mashed potatoes. That's how watery this coleslaw is. So I don't know about you, but it doesn't bode well for me anyway. So I'm going to grab a fresh spoon, so it's not been tainted by anything else. And let's go ahead and taste it live here. Okay. So, classic mistake on this coleslaw. I've talked about this in the past. If you're not going to master the basics, then how can you go forward and add some complexity? So this is what I would call a basic slaw. I mean, it's as basic as you can really get it. They tried to go sweet to cover up some of the pitfalls. Didn't work for me. Very sweet, kind of tastes like I'm eating candy, to be honest. Lots of cabbage, very little carrots. I mean, I'm looking around at this container, obviously clear container. I could probably count on two hands the amount of carrot pieces I see in there. So, man, I'm not too impressed with this. This is definitely on the overall leaderboard. This is going below Summer Slaw, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's going well below the Summer Slaw. This isn't even shredded cabbage. I mean, this is more like mashed cabbage. When I said it before, I mean it. It looks like mashed potatoes. Okay? So, I'm not too impressed with that one. We're going to go ahead and put that below the list of the Summer Slaw. However, with that being said, well below the list. This is definitely on the bottom of the ladder as it stands. So, with all that being said, I want to thank you for joining me. This has been the Slawcast. I'm Noah Lynch. We'll be back Monday. Until next time, I'll slaw you later.
No bread, no meat, no potatoes, and nothing that's sweet. All I want is a lot of coleslaw.